Oh, man, I hate Mondays.
Nah, man, it's Tuesday.
Wait. What day is it?
You know what day it is. Tuesday. Brewsday Tuesday.
Oh, fuck yeah! Grab a cold one. It's Brewsday Tuesday, brought to you by the Cellar and Six Pack Store. Here is DreZ and Huck.
Yeah, actually, I opened this one. Remember last time we had these, I was like, I'm going to need a pair of pliers.
They can be tricky. Brewsday Tuesday brought to you by the Cellar Restaurant and Six Pack Store right there in downtown Blacksburg. We did not grab a cold one.
No, we
Huck?
grabbed warm ones.
Well, we grabbed a hottie, actually.
We
got
grabbed a hottie,
BB
too.
in
We
the
grabbed
studio.
everything.
So what we have, BB, hello, welcome.
Hi.
If you're watching on the Facebook, you might notice we are in Studio B, as we do have a guest.
Studio B.
But the reason why I brought BB in is because, for those that don't know, she is Scottish, and we are drinking Scotch today, ladies and gentlemen. So, I went on that extravagant little tour of the U.S., and then we also did a little tour of Scotland. And I don't know if you know this, but they're big on their whiskey over there, Huck.
Are you kidding me?
Did you hear about this?
No.
Did you know about this?
No, what is going on? Maybe they found some peat moss and decided to make whiskey out of it?
Maybe.
Is that what
Just maybe.
happened? I don't know.
Certain areas.
I don't have a lot of knowledge.
We can delve into it, but certain areas are more peaty than others.
That's what I heard.
But before we
It's like corn over here.
Before we dive into that, let's actually talk about what we popped. So the first, I guess was it the first distillery that we went to?
Yeah, I think so. Mm-hmm.
We have here. I just opened up the single malt Scotch. It's called McDonald's Celebration. It's the traditional from Ben Nevis Distillery, which, for those that don't know, Ben Nevis is the tallest
Mountain. On Monroe.
Monroe. Yes, they call their. Well, it has to be a certain height to be a Monroe. How high does it need to be?
It's about 3,000 feet.
So the tallest Monroe, not only in Scotland but in all of the UK, is called Ben Nevis, and we did. We could talk a lot about hiking that. But so Ben Nevis is right there at sort of like the base of the town, and that's the first. And we actually did a spur of thing popping in there for the whiskey, and
Yeah.
we can delve into that in a little bit. But you popped one of their. I think you have the blend, right?
Yes, I don't know. That's you handed me a different one. So yeah, I think I do have the blend. 12 years, Nevis Stew. See, I thought you were going somewhere else with the tallest. I thought it was going to be like the tallest Scotch distillery machine. And I was like, wow, that's going to be cool.
It was taller than any other distillery we went to because we went up a couple heights. Maybe did
you
that
see
on
those
purpose.
things and you're like, I don't know how that works, but
No, I hate
apparently
to-
it works like an oil refinery. They pull off different levels. Some of them will kill you.
And then you popped.
That's true.
What are you pouring over there? What are you sipping on?
So I just have a Grant's, which is a kind of bog standard Scottish whiskey.
Bog
So
standard.
we get the fancy stuff.
Yeah.
She gets stuck with the stuff that she's
in the
she's
bog.
had it all. She's used
This
to
is
it.
the hardcore. Yeah, you need to be Scottish to really appreciate this one.
Yeah, that's what if I was at the PKs in Scotland, that's what I'd be drinking. Right?
All right. Yeah, I can imagine that.
But you can appreciate how nice your ones are.
Once during
you
the
try,
break
yeah,
when we
exactly.
start sipping on that one.
It's pretty tasty.
Yeah, it's not bad. So, all right. I know we drink bourbon. We're bourbon guys. And in fact, I could also delve well into bourbon versus Scotch. I got to sit down with her dad, Hank, and a couple of his buddies, and we sort of did a head-to-head. We just went through, and I brought Woodford. I brought Buffalo Trace, of course. I had some Wild Turkey 101. I had some Jim Beam. I had
James
some.
Beam.
What else did I? Oh gosh, I brought
Jack
I brought
Daniels.
8 or so. I brought
Elijah
No,
Wood,
Jack
I think.
Daniels isn't bourbon.
Oh, and you can get that all over the world anyway.
Yeah, I brought
Elijah Wood, is it?
Elijah Wood. Yeah, the little Frodo in a bottle. Elijah Craig.
That's the one, Elijah Wood.
Yeah, Elijah Craig. What else did I bring? Gosh, I wish I
got some of that Taylor I broke into the other day.
I wonder if I actually might have it on my notes, but I guess. So I also have this nice little whiskey book here.
There you go.
So I can go to the page, and it's basically going to go bourbon Willets. I brought some Willets, Maker's Mark, of course, Buffalo Trace, and then also have all the stuff that we had to go back and forth. But A lot of them hadn't really had bourbon before, and I think I might have won them over on it. I think they really enjoyed it. I mean, I don't think they're going to give up their Scotch, of course.
No, about to get to the end of it, they're all like, "Oh, I love it."
Yeah, it was except for the Jim Beam. Actually, the Jim Beam.
It's a little sweet. I'm not a huge
not
fan.
a fan.
I'm not a huge fan, really.
Yeah.
But you got to think of it like, why would you have an imposter whiskey when you can have the real whiskey, which is Scotch whiskey?
Oh, there we go. Another country heard from.
Wow, imposter.
We're
whiskey,
sending you
she said.
back. Back you go.
So I guess we could delve into it. So the differences between bourbon, you have to have the corn. There's also some other specifics. It has to be a new oak barrel.
Yes.
And in Scotland, it doesn't. In fact, they usually use oak barrels, repeatedly. In fact, a lot of the oak barrels that they use are former bourbon barrels. Sometimes they'll do that action. And then of course, like what we do, we give them, they'll give them to wineries or whatever. Also, they'll use wine barrels.
Sherry.
Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it was a good time, man. We drank a lot of Scotch. But Nevis was really cool. Should we talk about the hike a little bit? We did end up going up there. There was a lock. I can't remember what it was called, but they called it like the halfway lock because it's essentially like halfway up the hike.
You need to get your huz. A loch.
That's right. It's a loch.
Did you see the Loch Ness monster?
We did go to Loch Ness.
Yeah.
Nessie did not make an appearance, but I did some nice skipping of rocks. It was fun.
He's trying to piss her off.
Well, I thought it would lure her out. Maybe she would think it was a snack or something.
Yeah, you're the snack. Yeah, that's just asking for trouble.
Yeah, so we started in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of glad we did, because then it gave us the excuse to only go halfway up to where this loch was.
Yeah, we saw the loch and we hopped right in.
Yeah, it was such a hot day, which is very unusual for Scotland. Yeah, so there was a bunch of people at this midway point just enjoying the water. Even the water was quite warm. I was saying to DreZ, like, this is going to be cold.
And come to find out, Ben Nevis Distillery, where do they get the water that they make their whiskey with? Well, we were swimming in it the day before. So
you're like, this tastes familiar.
Yeah, it really does. I'm sure a batch.
12-year batch. Yeah,
it'll have a little.
Okay,
taste.
so everyone, 12 years, don't drink any Scotch.
Might want to give it a little bit of time to
give it a rest.
But man, isn't it delicious?
It is.
Like mine's
very
already,
smooth.
I mean, mine's already gone.
Mine's about gone. I was trying to hold back here.
So I did bring a little bit. There is some water there. So if you want to try it, I do recommend maybe a drop or two to see how that will change.
They sell this in big giant bottles. Just saying.
For
reference.
Well, when you don't check a bag, you can't bring giant bottles.
I'll pay the $50 for $400 worth of liquor.
Actually,
Let me see that water.
This distillery, they did not have many big bottles.
Right. Yeah, we had to buy the little bottles. They were they were fresh out of like everything. COVID, of course. COVID.
Yeah, COVID.
Blaming everything on COVID.
But it was actually as well because they were owned by a Japanese company
that buys it all up.
And 85% of their whiskey they actually sent straight to Japan. So they could only sell 15% of what they made in Scotland. And they only really sold it in that shop because there was no point in opening like distribution lines with such a small amount. So that was really interesting for me to know, because I had no idea that was going on.
Yeah, and the issue was, I mean, they had whiskey. They just the place that they outsource bottling it.
Yeah, they fill up giant trucks with them.
Well, they were so backed up that like they haven't been able to get in there to bottle their whiskey, so they're like delayed. And I think they had there was a couple bottles that you could get that were full size, but everything else you had to get the airplane style. So, but it worked out because that was all I could take back anyway. So,
okay, well, bring me two.
Next time. Well, hey, I did bring you two. We got a few for you to try over here.
All right, fair enough.
So I guess we could use the same untapped scale for the Scotch. I mean, I know it's a little bit variant, but and do you have any you a Scotch guy? Do you drink Scotch at all? Do you have any basis of comparison?
So I've had we had Scotch another time.
Mm-hmm.
And one New Year's Eve, guy bought me a $90 shot of Scotch. So that's a 5. Okay, I knew it when I drank it. It was very peaty. It was very it was like 2 ounces. It was like
You don't remember what it was?
No.
It was probably from one of the islands, like
think it
Isle of
was a
Skye or
blue-
The islands are more peaty, is what.
A blue bottle, maybe.
it could be anything.
Might have been Johnny
Blue
Walker
bottle?
Blue.
Johnny Walker Blue.
Might have been.
Yeah. Oh, it could.
Isn't that Scotch?
I think it's Scotch.
Oh yeah. Well, here's my experience with Scotch. We arrived in South America, and of course we had a bottle of Buffalo in the suitcase. And by the third or fourth day, I go to the liquor store, which is actually a grocery store there, and go look at the liquor. They have Jack Daniels and Johnny Walker Red. That's all. Anywhere. So we drank probably 10 or 15 bottles of Scotch while we were in South America.
You go red over Black Label.
Yeah, I went. No, I couldn't drink the Jack.
Really?
Yeah, so we drank the Johnny Walker Red and Jack Daniels were the two, and occasionally they would have.
You know what? I need to give Johnny Walker Red another go because I used to not really have a tasting for Scotch, but since I started getting into the bourbon and now
I think
Scotland,
it's like you're talking about the bog. It's low end. We just wanted the alcohol content. You know, I like a couple fingers of liquor before I go to bed.
But you like that over Jack Daniels?
Yeah, we thought it was
Jack
smoother
Daniels.
than the Jack Daniels.
Interesting. Okay.
And not everybody had to. Oh, it was also half the price of the Jack Daniels.
Well,
That
now
probably
we're
helps.
talking.
I didn't know what the money meant.
Now we're getting
peso,
down to
dacos, something. The money.
Okay, fair
I'm
enough.
like, how many? What is this? No, I'm just being a rude American. Actually, I got pretty good at asking for it in grocery stores. Everybody else is like, we speak Spanish. I don't speak Spanish, but I can learn the words I need to know, and I know how to use my hands.
Yeah. So, by comparison, is this better than you would say Johnny Walker Red?
Oh yeah, definitely better than Johnny Walker Red. Nowhere near as good as whatever it was I had New Year's Eve. I'm going to give this a 4. It's very smooth. I'll give it a 4.25. This is very smooth. I like it. I need to leave some room because I don't know what else you brought.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see and that was the blend. So
Right.
this is the single malt. So I'm interested to see if you're more of a single malt guy or a blend guy.
Okay.
I thought that I was more of a blend guy, but after the trip, I did learn to appreciate the single malt, which I think is more the.
Well, it's just
If you're a drinker, you kind of. It seems like.
Yeah, like so my dad and his friends would definitely, I think that's their choice would be to always go single malt. And I know they brought around a couple of really nice bottles for you to try. So
Yeah.
you were probably spoiled a little bit.
I'm a little spoiled.
Well, I would think that the blend has got to be the lower quality because that's why they had to blend.
Why they're
it.
blending it, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it makes sense, but to each their own. How's you? Are you gonna? You want to untap? What did you have? What was it called?
The Grants, I
Grants.
mean, I'm not a big whiskey lover, but I'll give it a 3 just because it's Scotch.
Yeah. It's at least a glass bottle. I mean, it's not plastic.
Why are
Give
you
them-
here?
Give them a little credit.
I hate whiskey. Could you give me some whiskey?
The McDonald's celebration, though, over here, this blend is really, really good. I think you'll enjoy it. Excuse me, not a blend. This is the single malt. Just so delicious, and obviously it goes down a little too easy in my book. This was this is a 4.5 easy, or I guess in my whiskey book it's by stars. So I'm gonna give it 4.5 stars, I guess. Yeah. In fact, I could probably even. Oh no, actually, I don't think I rated these ones because I was going to save it for the air. So
Save it for the air.
4.5 stars in the whiskey book. That's what we're doing. Not on tap. The whiskey book. Whiskey book.
Whiskey
rating.
book. I need
So
to get a
it's-
whiskey
So
book.
it's stars. You can't do stars. So it's got to be. You might need to round up or down.
Well, I'll give 4.5 stars.
Okay.
Stars in the whiskey book. Golly, man.
Whiskey book stars. All right. Next
I
round.
could color one in like a little. Never mind.
Just the bottom
Yeah,
corner.
just kind of
so
color it in.
1.2 if it's just the one.
There you go.
The one.
Yes.
part.
Five.
Okay. Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what we'll do is we'll take a break. Kirsty, since you're our guest, do you have any tunes you want? Is there any good Scottish rock tunes that perhaps I should play? I'm gonna put you on the spot here.
Is Proclaimers 500 Miles a rock song?
I'm pretty sure. I think that will qualify in this instance. I mean, we put at least 500 miles on your dad's Volkswagen
car,
that he let us borrow. So I think that's fair. All right, we'll do a little Proclaimers and we'll come back. It's a Scotch edition Brewsday Tuesday, if you will, right here on 105.3 The Bear. Stick around.